We'll
whatever.
find
I'll
out
fix it.
if the title is actually right. But this is actually the 292nd Purge Hangers and Wall Hangers Media Network presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the only podcast to fuck up binary. We are the Triforce Podcast, of course, and I am your host, Matthew Bucarell, the Matt Man. In the Purge Hanger box, we have Christopher Bristow, the old man. Our omnipotent presence, that is, big brother, producer, Stephen Bucarell. And, of course, you may actually see Katarina Thermoscara, our wonderful woman, popping up. It's an ever-changing Purge Hanger box. But tonight, we have a lot of great stuff for you. A Benderless future, Super Bowl trailer dump, $60,000 Star Wars VHS, and so much more on the Triforce Podcast. And, of course, we want you to hop on over here to pjandewh.com, where if you click this button that I'm covering right here, you will find the very absolute most funniest moment from last week's Triforce Podcast. Scroll up a bit there, which was Triforce Podcast, okay to senpai, no to hentai. And last week's Lugnuts Podcast, which was Bugatti Vice Grip copying homework. And that last Sunday's live cast is yet to be popped up there. But in that funny moment there, you will actually see how we got to the new ownership of the Hairy Donut. It's under new management.
Be stitching.
Bitches be stitching is their motto. They have very good food. Michelin 1-star.
I don't know how that happened. Someone got their palms greased. A new management.
Welcome to Clitsy
Don't
Kills.
take no for an answer.
You know.
Go ahead, step across the line.
You know what?
Plenty of room out back.
It was like Sopranos. That's how they got that shit.
Don't ask no questions.
You remember the game?
I'm not.
Sopranos, the game? Oh,
No.
my God. That was so
I was
shitty.
playing Mafia 2 the other day.
Oh, man. Mafia 1 was great. Mafia 2 was... Well,
Mafia 1 annoyed me at the end. I don't
Mafia 2 was
remember
Vita
why.
Scarletta.
I didn't play that.
That was 2010.
that was
Or did I
Miami?
play that one?
No, that was Empire City. That was like
Oh,
supposed to be
yeah. That
mirroring
Miami
New
was-
York.
Miami was 3.
That was the one where
Yeah,
you got
Miami's three.
speeding tickets?
Yeah, you can get speeding tickets.
You can get speeding tickets in 1 and 2. You could only go so
Oh, yeah, that's
fast
why I
in
stopped
1.
playing that game.
That was
Yeah, the
that was
speed
good.
limiter.
I don't
in two,
need
though.
I don't
Yeah.
need speeding tickets in my video game.
They had great action combat, though. They had really great action combat. Like
Very good story, though, I will say.
the action you're going to find on the second tab, Walljanger Gaming, Sunday to Friday. You'll find myself at Big Brother streaming. I'm going through the Old Republic, I got stuck on a mission, and it was like after the main, like you go to all these planets, and now you're trying to find the Emperor. You go to a planet with a little Yoda tells you to go to support the fleet, and you have to save a Jedi prisoner. The thing I really loved about this mission was that the Jedi prisoner you were saving was fucking Revan. And then the Force Ghost that talks to you is like a female version of the Exile from the second game. And I'm like, what? You just dropped that? And they just tied in both games like, boop, boop, yep, Revan's still alive. He was trapped in a prism, a Force prism, and, suspended in time and animation. And there he is right there. He did not look like how I designed him.
No.
A little bit more sickly. It's probably the prism, though. But the
But you know
Force
what
Ghost,
that means? They can bring
It was the
anyone
food.
back at any time.
yeah, the Force Ghost Exile, I thought, oh my God, when you tied all that in together, oh, dude, I'm about to subscribe to that bitch because that's a really great game. Even 10 years old, I'm still willing to give you my money.
Hashtag code word justice.
You know what I mean? Like, it
Contact
just really
us for
impressed me.
story.
But contact the team, and obviously want to hop over to our first story, which kind of impressed me a little bit. Futurama has revived at Hulu with almost the whole original cast.
Almost. Who didn't make the cut?
Well, Fry, Leela, Bender are set for more 31st Century adventures after the months of negotiations. Hulu has finalized deals for 20 new episodes of Matt Groening and David X. Cohen's cult animated sci-fi comedy, Futurama. It's to premiere in 2023 on the streamer. In addition to Groening and Cohen, set to come back is the majority of the series' voices, including cast Billy West, Katie Seagal, Tris McNeil, Maurice LaMarche, Lauren Tom, Phil Lamar, and David Herman. Missing from this list is one of the main three lead voice actors, which is John DiMigoa, who voiced the foul-mouthed robot Bender.
Ah, no Bender. Everybody loved Bender.
But the role is currently being recast ahead of the first table read on Monday.
That's fine.
I mean,
Whatever.
John DiMaggio.
Yeah,
He also voiced Marcus Phoenix.
but they recast
Gears
all
of
the
War.
time. You know what I mean?
Whatever. Just
What's Nolan North
be
doing?
consistent. Whatever you're doing, just pick someone.
Just get Nolan North in there. He could probably do it. He
I-
does everything.
You need just put Mark Hamill in. I'm sure he could do it.
You know what? Maybe Gilbert Godfrey. We'll just settle for
Yes.
Gilbert Godfrey and move on.
It's a
But
good pick right there.
so Disney got this over the Fox acquisition. They're putting it on Hulu because why not? And for Futurama, whose 20 episodes are expected to run in 2 batches, this marks the 3rd revival. It's also the 3rd beloved Fox animated series to find new life following Family Guy, which was revived by network after a strong DVD sales, and American Dad, which has become a staple on TBS. I'm really surprised all 3 of these shows. Well, I mean, 2 of the shows I'm really surprised are still there. And then you look at The Simpsons and you're like, my God, you're still going? Yep.
No, they're not. They're not still going.
No?
No, years ago they stopped.
I thought they still had a couple new episodes when they went to Disney Plus.
No.
They did the
Yeah,
shorts.
they're still pumping them out though. They got plenty of material.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was pretty sure The Simpsons was still going. That's I didn't think they stopped that shit. That was a big thing for Fox. And then, obviously, Disney Plus got them on their streamer, so everybody was just watching all that old content just right there. So,
Too big. No.
American
it's too big. No. Go
You know
away.
what, man? That's bigger than Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's too. Sorry, it's too big. Can't. Nope.
And I mean all of Doctor Who, like classic, and you still got more Simpsons episode, bro. Like, oh,
you got to be dedicated to watch all those classic
or
episodes.
masochistic. Jesus,
The
I don't even think Chris would do a full rewatch.
classic episodes.
Classic and new, like all the way to catch up. Would you start from 1?
I mean, when you're talking 1, are you talking like
Black
Tracy
and
Ullman
white.
Show
Yeah,
1?
Tracy Ullman Show.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
those shorts are unbearable.
all the way back to 1. Would you start?
I mean, the therapy episode on season 1 was always classic,
Oh yeah.
where they were shocking each other.
Yes. There was a good couple episodes, like very classic episodes, even in the earlier days when it was like classic animation and they were clearly drawing.
Yeah, well,
that
they were
shit.
more focused on Bart than they were Homer. When they pivoted finally to Homer, and the stupidity that
Yeah.
ensued from him,
Yeah.
the show just show's legs just grew. Because like remember everybody was like, because you had the Simpsons, like the Simpsons sing-along tape back in the late 80s, early 90s,
Yeah.
like doing the Bartman, like all that shit. Like that was like the first 5 years of the Simpsons, and it was going very quickly down.
As an anime
I was there. I
equivalent,
remember it.
as an anime equivalent metaphor, The Simpsons is like One Piece. It's where they're just like, yep, keep ordering up. Just keep going, pump them out. Like, I mean, Futurama, I've always thought was better. Like, at first, I thought Futurama was better than Family Guy.
At this point, it's probably more just social commentary than actual story.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but Futurama, you have that. I mean, Bender was so awesome. They should really.
But-
Get that
well,
guy
with-
back.
It was crude
With the-
and intelligent humor at the same time.
They had
Yeah.
like
And you-
13 PhDs working on the fucking on the show.
I don't care how many PhDs you have working on it. Make it funny. Make it
Yeah, and they
clever.
did. It was so funny and clever. And my God, I mean, besides that one dig they did at the Dave Matthews Band, to where he's like, "Oh my God, all my ideas are right." Yes, besides the Dave Matthews Band still sucks. They fucking rock. Okay, that was the only thing I disagreed with Futurama, but I really love that show, and I really appreciate how they're bringing it back, giving it a third shot, because I didn't really watch the too much of that second run. That there was that Adult Swim thing that
Yeah, no.
that
Yeah.
got Family Guy brought back, and then they brought Futurama back, and then it didn't quite hit like that those original episodes did. To where Family Guy,
They
it
must
was
not
Seth
have got-
MacFarlane just kind of fucking spitting off that social commentary and that at the time original format to that Family Guy was. You had
Yep.
those side cutaway clips, and you had this interesting story, and then hey, we actually evolved the town and all that. Look, there's the hairy donut now, Clits and Kilts. They weave that in there, and
Well, they were
We gotta make a
weaving it
pajama
in
town,
with
that's
the
what we gotta do.
emergence of social media, how it mimics people's flipped attention.
like I tuned into like I saw one Simpsons episode just in passing on TV, and it was like Lisa commenting about on a cell phone, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, the Simpsons, like they just kept those kids young, Neverland Ranch style, giggity, and just kept farming them out. Yeah, no giggity, but you know. They just kept changing and updating that content, keeping all the characters the way they are and the age they are. And there's that kind of classic style that all three of them did with that, because Futurama did it too. Everybody stayed the same. Hermes, the great grandson, the old guy. He's like you, but with a pointier head.
Yeah.
Professor.
Yeah, Fry. No,
No. Name is
Fry.
different.
Well, I mean, fries.
Fuck.
Take
Why
my
do
money.
Why do I goddamn forget that now? Brain farting.
Yeah, because
I always like Dr. Zoidberg.
Yes.
What was he, a lobster?
Zoidberg. He was like
Zoidberg.
kind of like a lobster, and like he had like weird tentacles in front of his mouth, so he was kind of hentai. I don't know. But you know,
Anyway.
we're getting more Futurama. Another thing we're getting, well, is this next story, because we actually get a little sneak peek of Black Adam and our first look at Hawkman as well as Dr. Fate.
Wow, he looks animated.
Doesn't he? You can check out the trailer below. Black
that
Adam
cost
star.
$2 million.
Yeah.
Who are you? And
Black Adam star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the title role is a spin-off of 2019 Shazam and will mark his debut of Aldous Hodge as Hawkman and Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. Other than confirming the cast members that also appear in the promo as Noah Centineo as Atom Smasher, Sarah Sashi as Adriana Tomez or Cyclone, and Quinez Swindle. Quinez Swindle is Cyclone.
What
Guess the other guy.
names?
I know. What the fuck?
Which ones are the sci-fi
Swindle.
names and which ones are the real names?
I don't know. But Cyclone is definitely a character of the Legion of Heroes, or Legion of America. Anyway,
That's amazing. She works the third stage on Wednesdays.
the promo video titled "The World Needs Heroes"
That's in kilts.
Probably a different person, I'd imagine.
and restart that "World Needs Heroes" video there. It also featured a sneak peek of other upcoming DC films, which include The Flash, Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, and The Batman. While details surrounding the plot of Black Adam are unknown, Warner Brothers did confirm that Centineo, Brosnan, Hodge, Swindle, and Saha will all appear in the film as the Justice Society of America. The potential costumes were only briefly teased during the fandom, and now we get our first full look at all of them. We see Black Adam looking boss. We see a full-on Flash with that new suit. Obviously, some drop-down visors.
Okay.
some scenes from the Batman, but we also get some Hawkman here.
There you go.
Black Adam, Dr. Fate looking awesome, Cyclone and Atom Smasher. Also, Pierce Brosnan outside the Dr. Fate, which is big because that's like scheduled time. Dr. Fate consumes a lot of that man's schedule. So there's a lot of good things in this trailer for the future of what we're getting in 2022. Which of these projects, old man, are you most excited about? Because Black Adam, I'm getting more and more excited the more we see about it.
I'm on the Black Adam train. Like that's what I want to see.
But also, we haven't seen a lot. We haven't seen like a good full trailer. We saw that teaser trailer for Flash, but we haven't seen a good full trailer for Flash. So they're kind of being coy here. But
I'm still going with Black Adam.
I'm really excited for Flash because they're rumoring Flash to be rebooting the DC extended universe and maybe converging
he's
it
the
all.
only one that could technically do it.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he's the only one that does it in the comics all the time. So, you know, there's only one man that is good enough for this job.
Thank you, Barry.
Just keep running and don't fuck up the timeline too much. But I'm really excited about a lot of these projects. The Batman. Yeah.
Is this Hawkeye the same guy from Space Ghost?
No.
Is it a different Hawkeye? There was a Hawkeye in that one, I remember.
Different Hawkeye.
Different Hawkeye? Okay.
Yeah. This guy keeps getting regenerated into different lives, and he and his wife have to constantly fall back in love with each other. And they're a race of pretty much like Klingon bird people. But
that sounds embarrassing. That sounds horrible.
The Batman got the AMC authentication, which is a film school kind of title, which says that you're boosting the film and culture with that film. The last superhero title to get it was Joker, which I use that term superhero title loosely, but Joker was the last one to get that. And this is even before we've seen the movie. It's already said that people are already raving about the film. They don't care about the 3-hour timeline. And they are saying that now, like Joker, this is something that you would want to study if you're a film student. So a lot of big hope for that. And that's March 4th. When we don't have very long to wait for that. I'm really excited for that, especially since they're focusing on the detective style. And Robert Pattinson recently came out and said that in a Batman movie sequel, he would love to take on the Court of Owls, which I think would be perfect for that Batman. If you're focusing on detective work, yeah, that would be the perfect story. I mean, where you would go after that, I have no idea. But Court of Owls is great.
Right after the Court of Owls, you could start introducing like Green Arrow. You can start introducing that, the building of the Justice League in the new universe. You could do it. You can do it slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would introduce Green Arrow, and then maybe get some more Catwoman time.
Because Green Arrow was Batman, but he really didn't mind maiming and injuring people with arrows. Possibly killing. I don't know. I haven't really read too much Green Arrow.
So you have the vigilante and you have the one that wants to do it by the book, but also a vigilante. So you would have those two arcs clash heads initially.
Yeah, that'd be a good movie. That would be a good singular movie. See, I would see something like that as like the middle movie, to where you got like Batman, Green Arrow, and then like a big villain being Deathstroke, Deathstroke. And having him hunting the Batman, and then Green Arrow being involved in that. That would be a nice, solid film. Add in, like, I don't know, somebody else. A B-list villain. To kind of fill out that kind of role. As, it's initially this person, and they come back in the end because the villain hires them for a specific point.
No, I would do Gorilla Grodd for that movie.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Because then it would take both people's intellects in order to defeat Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, but Gorilla Grodd's more of a Flash villain, to where like Green Arrow really doesn't have very good villains, and Batman, he has his rogues gallery, but you could kind of, I don't know, you could mix a bunch of different people. I like these Batman movies just being like standalone rogues gallery kind of films.
Like to end the movie, you would have Flash coming in and saying that he just reset the timeline, and then Gorilla God's gone. Boom.
Or a really good Mr. Freeze movie, like akin to the animated series,
like the origin story of Mr. Freeze.
I forget the name of the episode, but it was like one of the most accurate Mr. Freeze tellings, and it was so beautiful of a story. And it was Batman the animated series when they introduced.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that.
It was so good. I forget the name.
Don't
of
call
though.
it Batman. Call it what was his name? Victor.
Oh, what if they just did a fucking Mr. Freeze movie? They just call it Victor Freeze
fuck Batman.
or Freeze.
Just do
they do that Joker
what's
treatment.
His name?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. That
no,
shit.
the
Patrick Stewart.
No, Victor.
Victor
Mr.
Freeze?
Freeze's name. Victor.
Victor Freeze.
Oh, his last name was Freeze. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, Frice, but yeah, Victor Frice.
Call it Victor, the Victor Frice movie. I mean, people scratch their heads.
I mean, once he got cryogenically frozen and needed to be
once
in
you see the
sub-below
dome
temperatures, it
and
would
the
kind of be
fog. You're gonna get it.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
you do the Flash that says like it says Frice, and then you see the ice come in and it says freeze, and then
Oh,
the movie
yeah,
comes to pan.
Yeah, there you go. That's the tie-in there.
Yeah, we got a great
That's the
marketing
time.
team here.
Yeah. And then it's just that origin story of Mr. Freeze. And you
And
can
then
have
you
a Batman cameo in that.
You see the halo, you see the circle halo where like the corners of the peripherals of the camera start getting iced over,
Yeah.
and then it zooms in on him saying like how he became that way.
Yeah, and you can have like Batman in there, and he can be a segue to another movie.
Yeah.
Well,
and you don't
Batman he
Just
could
a little
be putting
cameo here and
like
there.
Batman could be putting Mr. Freeze in a cell, but then it just pans back, seeing like his origin story.
It's like a
how he became that way.
flashback kind of.
Yeah.
And then you
So
see.
you treat the entire
have-
bulk of the movie as a flashback.
Yeah, and you only have Batman in that initial I'm dropping you off scene. And then
Yep,
after that,
that's
the
it.
flashback, maybe a cut in for like an Arkham like redemption kind of I'm trying to rebuild my life kind of arc to where he's learning life as a prisoner and remembering that, damn, we made a really good movie.
For all your marketing needs, you go over here to contact us, pj@wh.com. We got great ideas. You know, we clean up nice.
We do clean up nice.
We clean up nice.
All
we could do
ideas
radio
are copyrighted
rules.
by Projangers and Wall Hangers LLC, pjandwh.com. Please contact us, and we'll help you flesh out the story. Thank you very much.
Look at this chrome dome, man. I clean up nice. I look good. But another thing, well, that doesn't look good, ironically, is this next story for Netflix. Not really. But Daredevil and other Marvel shows will be leaving Netflix next month on March 1st.
Good.
I knew you'd say that.
And they're going to Disney.
I don't know. Because in the short term, they are Netflix property as much as they are a Disney property. In turn, it is a Netflix original, but it is a Marvel property. So most likely it just goes into the ether. So Marvel's live-action superhero series are leaving Netflix starting February 28th.
Well, if Disney won it in the divorce, then they should put it on their website.
Yeah,
Give it
Polygon
a
has
home,
confirmed the 6 shows that originally premiered on Netflix, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Punisher, Iron Fist, and The Defenders now come with an advisory at the top left corner that they will soon be leaving the streaming service.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Sources confirmed to Polygon.
So you have 13 days to buy the Blu-rays before they become collector's editions.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Okay.
I mean, essentially, you have Netflix. They did the best with what they had when they made those shows, and they were great shows. I loved Daredevil.
The first,
I loved
the
Luke
first
Cage.
3 shows,
Oh, yeah.
like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones.
Daredevil
That's
could-
when the partnership between Disney and Netflix was at its prime peak.
Yeah,
You saw it kind of trail off in season 2 of Luke Cage, and then all of the Iron Fist, of course, and then Defenders was just Iron Fist.
Jessica
1.5.
Jones season 1 was amazing. Season 2 was and then
was
season
good, and then
three
season three
just
is-
kind of forgetful.
Very.
So they all kind of petered out.
Threes are hard.
Yeah, they petered out though. But
2 was hard.
I mean,
Yeah,
Marvel
Valve knows that.
seems-
Valve knows that answer. Threes are hard.
Look, man, Marvel seemed to donk it on Spider-Man 3, okay? Because it's the third. I think it's the third highest domestic grossing film ever.
Okay.
Yes, it beat out Avatar.
So they seem to donk that 3.
As the Avatar people
I mean, you know, Michael Jordan, tongue out, like slam dunk that shit. So I kind of think they may have an idea here with Daredevil being introduced, Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio being introduced in the MCU. I see this as a logical choice. As soon as we heard they were getting the rights back, I just automatically assumed that eventually these shows would be leaving Netflix.
Oh yeah, it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, you know,
they might make you wait a while, but they should put them up on their site.
well, you know, Blu-ray just to make it available for purchase. You know,
Oh yeah, they have to do that for a while.
I mean, it's even if they have to like continue to give Netflix credit for
Most of them were good.
like creating that series, I could see them putting it back or like putting it up on Disney as like its own little tab under Marvel.
But we said this multiple times. In the era that we're in now, like we're going like 8 years back when these shows were hitting the platform on Netflix.
So
So-
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Essentially. So look at the streaming services now. They both win if they just put it out on a platform. They both win because they both make money from it. Now, if they work out a deal where it stays on Netflix, they can get it back and deal with Disney. Great. If Disney wants to put it on Hulu, then both Disney and Netflix get a cut. It's just they both win if they don't let the property go into the ether.
Now
You
Netflix
can win now.
Netflix isn't losing all of its Marvel content, though. It also seems they're able to keep Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and a few animated series like the X-Men and Lego Marvel don't have the same message, which could be meaning they're safe for the moment. So some Marvel content, like the animated series and stuff, you could find them else places rather than just at Disney Plus.
Or elsewhere.
But it was a matter of time before it happened. You know, you would have had to think you were crazy if you thought they were going to stay on there forever. Crazy, like our next story.
But you know, everyone's crazy.
That was a good segue.
Thank you, Connor. Yeah. We got here, Moon Knight shows us Oscar Isaac losing his mind in this new Super Bowl trailer. We also see Mr.
What?
Moon.
What the hell was that? 30 seconds?
No, it's not 30 seconds. Oh, yeah, it is 30 seconds. It's a commercial.
Okay.
A good chunk of the trailer is Oscar Isaac's Mark Spector losing his mind. He's having trouble differentiating dreams from reality, seeing hallucinations, and even acts confused when someone calls him by his name. We also briefly see Ethan Hawke's Arthur Harrow and an amusing moment where Isaac is surprised to find himself holding a gun. The trailer also includes more of Moon Knight in this full costumed glory than we have ever previously viewed.
You get a whole 7 seconds of them.
Well, you know, it's more than we got. And even him using his crescent-shaped weapon.
At the very end for 2 seconds.
Yeah. So it's coming March 30th, man. We don't got to wait that long.
Oh, is that all?
Even his cape right there, you see it's shaped like a moon, a crescent moon. It's cute, you know? Unlike everything else about the show, which is going to be very Fight Club psychotic. Moon Knight is created by Doug Moniak of Harley Quinn and Young Justice, who also co-wrote the series with Jeremy Slater, The Umbrella Academy, and Netflix's Death Note. We won't hold the last one against him. The series will be directed by Mohammed Diab and directed by duo Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead of Synchronic. The series' first season is set to include 6 episodes, which will be released weekly on Disney+. So, Moon Knight, it's looking good. You get the Mr. Moon. You get a lot more of the little things that we're going to be seeing in this series, which is very nice. We see a good promise from this, and I don't want them to show us too much. That's the thing
less
I
is
like.
more, definitely, with this, because it has to do with a lot of, I mean, we could leave it to the person with the degree in the room, but it has to do with a lot of mental psyche things, and you don't have to be, you don't have to show too much of the visuals.
But with that mental psyche, you can't show too much of the story. You can show key little clips and stuff like they're showing, and that'll really hit. But showing off like costumes and, like
could also
weapons,
be a big swerve, because we know how Marvel is with, like, they could just say it was a mental break and it was like that part of like a different part of the MCU.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know what they're going to do, especially with the multiverse, because this next story also has fans scratching their heads, because we see the thumbnails in this last story. But Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer drops during the Super Bowl. There we go.
Now you may begin again, please.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness drops a trailer during the Super Bowl.
Damn it, a fucking
Scroll the
gun.
fuck down. We're going for the trailer. Motherfucker!
Damn it!
Go away!
Oh my god,
So-
that's hilarious.
There's no
Now we have to keep
6
it, damn
different
it.
ads.
There's no
ads
advertisement.
just hit you.
There's no
All at the same
advertisement. I
time.
swear to God.
Oh my God.
Here we go. Doctor
Here,
Strange.
Doctor Strange. They're with stuff.
So the movie is set after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home and Avengers Endgame. In an official synopsis for the movie reads, after the events of Avengers Endgame, Dr. Stephen Strange continues his research on the Time Stone, but an old friend turned enemy puts an end to his plans, causes Strange to unleash unspeakable evil. Doctor Strange will confront a mysterious new adversary in the film. The movie stars Benedict Cumberbatch in the titular role, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Elizabeth Olsen, Benedict Wong, Child Gomez, Michael Stuhlbarg, and Rachel McAdams. Thank God. It's directed by Sam Raimi. Whew! But in this trailer, what has nerds freaking out, here you see Mordo saying, I'm sorry, Steven, but you really fuck shit up. You got to pay for this shit. And here we see him being carted off by robots. And here, multiple chairs and the voice that sounds so very, very much like Mr. Sir Patrick Stewart, Mr. Charles Xavier himself, which has fans believing we may actually see a version of the Marvel Comics Illuminati. Right here, we see a person with kind of Captain Marvel-esque powers. People are
A big giant eye trying to kill everyone.
yeah, they're saying it may be, what's his name? Superior
Ted?
Iron Man as the Tom Cruise Iron Man, or Monica Rambeau as her version, a multiverse version of Captain Marvel. There's a bunch of different, it kind of looked like a Captain Marvel power. That we see kind of like a Zombie Strange, maybe even Null Strange kind of power. There's a lot of different stuff. The other thing
No,
that
we're
I
not
saw
going back. Hold
is
on.
that the Strange we see is not Superior Strange. It is like a different Strange. I forget the exact name, but during the Super Bowl, the actual closed captioning called him something different.
Called them. You looking for some strange?
No, it wasn't looking for some strange. Looking for some strange in the multiverse of madness.
"Daddy, what does that mean?"
Yes, I like my strange you sliced thin there, sir.
Strange slice thin. Order up.
Prosciutto. Here you go.
It looks good.
But
Just another menu item.
there's a bunch of different characters that may be dropping, which could be quick cameos just to help the plot along. This is the perfect movie to have a plethora of characters, like more than Endgame level, and it still works and be fine as long as it all is all cohesive to the story. Like
Yes, it's
tying it
cameo
all.
level. It's not anything like large or pivotal.
Well, yeah, like what they did with No Way Home. They brought all three of those Spider-Men, and they just tried to make a perfect Spider-Man movie. If you're trying to make a perfect Doctor Strange nerdy movie and tie in this multiversal theme, having all these different actors that play different titular roles that we are familiar with only makes sense to have them cameo here. Because there's also rumors of the Morbius universe Spider-Man being Tobey Maguire. And that being a whole series of movies and stuff. Because we saw
I thought that was going to be Andrew Garfield.
Well, no, but if you remember, in the first trailer for Morbius, he's walking down that one alley, and there's a Sam Raimi version of Spider-Man graffitied on the wall with murderer over it. That is what really leads me to believe that makes sense for a Tobey Maguire universe Spider-Man. Especially since he's weathered. He kind of just seemed like that guy that knew he fucked up, but he sees his younger self in those other Spider-Man. So there's that kind of like Spider-Man, but a different spider than what we know kind of story that you could tell, especially with the whole murderer. Like, you got to explain that shit.
Yeah, that's new.
Especially since Tobey Maguire stopped Tom Holland's Spider-Man from murdering the Green Goblin.
Yep.
Like, having that, like, oh no, that's a lesson, and making that a movie in that universe would be really fucking dope. And I think that's a level that we're able to explore now because Marvel took on that job of introducing the multiverse in a level that
Effectively.
palatable for everyone.
Yep. I agree.
Not everything can be palatable for everyone.
Don't make me go back to CNN.
Like this next story.
Nobody wants 60% of the truth.
That's true.
I'd have a lot of. Oh, we're back there again.
No, you went to the same story.
Oh, thank God. We're
off CNN. We're on to the liberal Polygon, which is, of course, Return to Middle Earth
better.
in Amazon's first Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power trailer. So the teaser wastes no time reintroducing viewers to the lush fantasy setting many know from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Stone rock coastline cities, wanderers in the wild, robe-wearing elves, which kind of sounds a lot sexier than they probably intended. Stone-breaking dwarves, galloping horses, and mighty battles appear as a young woman's voice says, "There's wonders in this world beyond our wandering."
And they're totally wondering what the wondering is, and I'm going to go
Wandering Wanderers. I don't know. It sounds like a band. It may be a bard band in Middle Earth. You never know.
Yeah, and I'm going to go wander down the...
Did they ask why?
No. Just wonder what happened.
Wonder, don't you ever wonder?
They put all their wonders in a ball, and then they encase it in chocolate and sell it.
What do you need?
They're delicious.
But while this footage seems to be saying, here, have a sword, an axe, and a bow, it still doesn't tell us much about who those weapons belong to. So...
No, they don't. They're not going to tell you that.
We at least get some nice scenic shots, okay? Some different things in this trailer, which it's looking very Lord of the Rings. I mean,
good.
Style-wise, it looks great. It looks like they spent a lot of money on it. And we're getting it in September 2nd. So this is
also
a series.
what they did with your COVID money.
Yeah. This is a series that we're going to be getting this year. And it's part of that content. Mandalorian, they're saying that's going to be right after Obi-Wan. So we're getting a lot of this content. We're going to get now. This year is going to be just as power-packed as last year was, if not more so. So we'll have to see
But
how
it's
the
my
second age
content, and I want it
turns out.
now.
You know, fans have waited until for decades for this, but they only have to wait until September 2nd for this season to drop, where you'll get the first 8 episodes in the season, and it'll premiere on Amazon Prime Video. The second season has already been greenlit, so you don't have to worry about that. It's A+ idea, I guess, is the overall idea, point that I wanted to make. Rings of Power.
We're going to do a much better ad segment this week.
Yeah, because they're going to have different rings, all right? Maybe onion rings, empanada rings. You never know. The one empanada ring of power may be at your next catering or event, where you go to facebook.com.
I forged the mozzarella ring.
/APLUS Tri-State, where you can book A+ catering and events for your next event, office party, whatever you need, man. They will cook up the most delicious delicatessens and give you the interesting, inventive, and delicious designs that they think up. So check them out over on Facebook, book them down, and then say thank you for all the delicious food. So in our next story, he'd probably have them make chili dogs, honestly, because Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie drops a Super Bowl trailer with Knuckles on a warpath.
Holy shnikey.
Yeah. So Knuckles is on a warpath. Heads are tails. Yeah, no, it's an ad for their whole thing here. I do like the look of Knuckles. They have that fur look. It's looking really nice. He's looking just like from the games. We see James Marsden, Cyclops himself. Not as Cyclops. That'd be weird.
That'd be an interesting crossover.
It would. Jim Carrey telling Knuckles to work smarter, not harder. Like, it just looks like such a good movie. I love that they have the fucking plane in it. April 8th. So, once again, won't have long to wait for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It looks great. Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik being more involved in the Chaos Emeralds, which is getting more in the lore, which is so great. Involving Knuckles in there as the anti-hero. And the thing that I really liked is a story that I saw right before we went live, which is there's a Knuckles TV series announced for Paramount Plus. Details on the new series is still sparse, but Sega offered up some initial details about the future of Sonic the Hedgehog not long after Paramount made the announcement. They said, "We are delighted to announce that the third Sonic theatrical film and the first live-action Sonic series for Paramount Plus are being actively developed. We've got a remarkable partnership with Paramount, and we are excited to continue expanding the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise with them, which means cha-ching, cha-ching. In 2022 is shaping up to be a significant year for the franchise, and the second film will be releasing this April, as well as Sonic Frontiers, the highly anticipated video game title coming this holiday. Sonic has been beloved by fans across the world for over 30 years, and we look forward to the continuing to bring memorable moments and experiences to them for many years to come."
I'm excited.
Two big things to pick up from that. One, we're getting Sonic Frontiers this year, which is kind of cool. But two is that we're not only are we getting this Knuckles series, we're also getting a third Sonic movie. So maybe we add in, what was her name? Amy, the Big O from Sonic Adventures on GameCube. Like, we go into the whole like Sonic family. Do we go Knuckles deep? In the Sonic family, giggity.
Don't add too many people at once.
No, that's an episode of Maury.
So not quite wrist deep. Just keep it Knuckles deep.
Like, yeah, sure.
Light. You know, just wiggle them around a little bit, see where the story goes.
Tails, Knuckles is not your father.
You could lose a ring that way.
But I think that only makes sense after the first film made $319 million worldwide at the box office that they're going to say second and third helping, please, as well as a TV series because, hey, them Marvel guys are doing really well at that. It's like these people are realizing, you know what? That old-ass idea that you could just have a movie and then a TV series really complementing each other kind of checks out.
Hold on, I don't have to go to just these 3 guys to make TV?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
3 guys, 5 channels, that's almost a porn. But it's something that there's a lot of promise in the industry, especially for video game franchises. And Sonic the Hedgehog, the first movie, so it didn't break the mold, it solidified that broken mold, I would say. It proved that it didn't
shattered
have to be
the glass ceiling of video game movies. Let's just call it that.
I wouldn't even say that it shattered it. It just proved that you can do it because we already had other video game movies do well before Sonic.
Yeah, but you had
that just made
Ryan
it a
Reynolds
commercial
made
success.
Detective Pikachu. Like Ryan Reynolds made Detective Pikachu. So that is the asterisk on that movie. Even though the movie was good, it wasn't great, but Ryan Reynolds made that movie.
You still tuned in for Ryan Reynolds.
I tuned in for Pikachu. I don't know what the fuck you people are watching.
You didn't tune in for James Marsden.
A Pikachu and a Charmander, and I'm happy.
In Sonic the Hedgehog, you did not tune in for James Marsden. You tuned in for the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
To where I can see that distinction. I can see that distinction, but still, Sonic was the first thing to really do the premise right because Sonic as a story for a game really didn't go anywhere besides Hedgehog hated by doctor that makes robots.
It was a very complicated story.
And then orphan fox that hangs around with him because Two Tails,
the emotional element.
He flies around. Why not? But they built on that in the animated show for Sonic, which then you found out that Tails wasn't his real name. It was Miles. And only, Sonic knew that, but his fake family didn't.
His last name was
in the animated show, Jaleel White was the voice of Sonic.
Oh, get the fuck out
Urkel
of here.
himself.
Oh, that is cool. Such a nice pull. That is awesome. That's an awesome little thing there. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Urkel was Sonic.
Yep.
That makes so sense now that I hear that. I'm waiting in my head. Yeah.
Yep.
That makes so much sense. So we'll have to see if Sonic the Hedgehog 2 will actually shape up to be as good as the first, if not better, in theaters April 8th. One movie that will be popping up onto your TV screen will be this next story because Netflix is making a Bioshock movie. Story above that it should be.
It's about, all I have to say about this, it's about time. And it's kind of ironic about this story because yesterday I booted up Bioshock Infinite for the first time in 4 years.
That's such a good story.
Yeah.
It is such an amazing story.
It's a much better story than the first one. The first one will make a much better movie.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I loved the first movie, but I'm that person who is very who's very easily entertained by a premise like this.
See, I love the first one will always be near and dear to me only because
Nostalgia.
I'm a sound buff. Like I love like those little creaks and stuff like that. And now with my sound system, I'm hearing it again for like people talking behind me and around me and in front of me, and like, and it's just amazing to experience it again.
Would you kindly
with a new perspective?
And going through that, absolutely. That's one of the pleasures of gaming is going back to an old title.
A man chooses, a slave obeys.
I remember the first time that I went back and I replayed Fable after a long time, and I still loved it. Like that kind of deep-seated love for a game. Like Bioshock had that same feeling when I went back and played the original and even Infinite. So good. It was like Ultimate Walljanger Moisel Robinson, his brother Brennan. he turned me on to Bioshock. Because Moyer's like, nah, man, Brennan's on this game, Bioshock, man. This shit is fucking crazy. And I got on
You have to look at
hooked.
the IPs during that year that Bioshock came out that were fighting for your
killers.
attention.
Killers.
Assassin's Creed, Bioshock, Mass Effect, all within the same time frame. And then a couple months later,
original
Call of Duty
idea.
Modern Warfare 4.
Yeah.
So like it was all within that same time period.
Yeah. That was a killer fucking Christmas season for the wallet.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It really was, but you had all those great games, and you look back on it nostalgically, and Bioshock had Bioshock 1 and Infinite were probably the best in the franchise because
Yes. You could skip over 2 very easily.
yeah, I didn't finish it. I really didn't finish 2.
I finished it. It was like if 2 came first, it would have been an okay story.
that
But
the
you
one-
had one that was just like this top tier, like molded, like perfect story.
Well, 2 is the one where you became the Big
a
Daddy.
Yeah, I
Correct.
finished that one. You became a Big Daddy at the end, and that was Nate, I guess.
Well, the original Bioshock was interesting because it had that simplistic choice situation where you saved the little sisters or you killed them and harvested them for energy.
Yeah.
I think you could do that as well.
But that was the first one
The
to
second
where it was, hey, we're going to have this choice system to where your ending's going to be different, whether you're a psychopath or a nice person.
I think the second one had that shit online.
Yes.
It
had the online game.
horrible online. It was,
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I did. I did.
It was okay.
I had some good times. It was all right. And you had that you could
played it
build your
once.
character, change your mask, look like one of those little psychopaths running around that city. It had that
Yeah,
kind
Splicer.
of
Yeah.
it didn't have staying power that it wanted to though. And that's where I think Big Brother is saying that if they took this and imagined it in its own film universe
They're doing
and
so
took
well.
it segmentedly, like, yes, this Bioshock, boom, this is it. And then we're going to go to Infinite. But also with this, they mentioned in the article here, if I don't stop randomly scrolling, that there is still another Bioshock game at works for Cloud Chamber Studios and 2K. So there is a new Bioshock game in the works. We already speculated. I'd love for them to go to the moon because you did under the water, in the air. Why not in outer space? But then that's pretty much
the dirt.
That's pretty much Outer Worlds. Like, where do you go outside of that? Fallout in a vault?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Um,
Center of the Earth? Do you go center of the Earth theory? Like that? Out of
so you've had
Yeah.
In the Water. You've had Rapture. Okay.
no, you've had
had
Under
Columbia.
the Sea.
Yeah.
You've had Columbia.
Yeah.
So what about
Maxwell House.
Antarctica
What if you do Savage Lands?
or Atlantis? Like, I mean,
Well, that was Rapture was Atlantis, but if you do Savage like a Marvel,
Rapture was Atlantis. Like, you have to look at
if you
how.
But look at it this way. If you do the Marvel treatment of the Savage Lands, which we also saw in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer.
We did.
If you take BioShock, but Savage Lands, you do it that way.
But then you're just creating Far Cry.
Yeah, but in
Why don't,
Antarctica.
in that point, why don't
So you have to look at like how they percepted the stories between BioShock 1 and Infinite.
Well, you could
is
say that Atlantis
there
was
were
Rapture
parallels.
and Columbia was
There were-
Mount Olympus.
There were
So-
reflections of certain like this. The Infinite was a reflection of the air. For a while, everyone was fascinated with
So-
airplanes and everything that flies. And
Yeah.
like pictures of like
But
my favorite is they had a
look at the
picture of a tank
timeline though.
with
The
a
timeline
helicopter.
was the same.
The
It
tank
was
with the
exact-
helicopter was the fucking best.
Yeah.
Yes, but the
And this-
timeline was the same. So like when you went into BioShock in 1912, you were underwater.
Yeah.
When
Sort
you
of like
went to
the,
Columbia in 1912, you went to the air. There were parallels as far as like hitting the same beats, having these same fuck you moments, having these same head trip moments at the same time. You have to have that same parallel. In order to make Bioshock,
it has to be
it's
Art Deco
multiversal
style.
You have
continuity.
to have that political satire in it as well.
Correct.
Yes, Art Deco style.
You know,
And,
because you had the Marxism of Rapture. You had Columbia. I don't know. That was crazy.
Which I love how they made the United States Constitution as its religion.
Yes, capitalism.
That was-
Yeah, there you go. I mean, fuck it, man.
Well-
Go crazy with the next game. I think the moon, or even if you're going with like that kind of theme of cities, you could go. What else is you take? Columbia's like Mount Olympus, right? You take Rapture as Atlantis. You
Yep.
got to have the underworld, Hades. So go underneath. Go
Have
fall.
like a sewer type of world.
Well, sewer or even cavernous, to where there's that one cave in that one country, I forget the name of, to where it has its own climates. It rains. It's like its own fucking biome. You could do something like that. I think that'd be dope.
I would love a Bioshock that goes backwards in time. Like let the timeline go reverse. Not necessarily go back, like go.
So you're
in
not
the
saying
past.
time fuck like Infinite, but just go
Correct.
in reverse. Benjamin
Yeah.
Button.
Do you have to walk backwards the whole time?
No, but I mean they could probably figure a way to do that. That would be a kind of
Oh,
like a weird mental mind.
It
fuck.
sounds
you
like
have-
it sounds like an easy idea.
So just
Now
figure it
go
out.
Figure it out.
It's fine. They'll figure it out. Somebody else who's figuring something out. Well, it's this genius in the next story, because Star Wars VHS tape expected to sell for $60,000 at auction. And before you go dusting off your rickety, old, dusted, beat-ass Star Wars tape thinking you're going to make $60,000, listen to the fucking story, all right? Now, while you're rooting through those boxes, Auction House Golden is hosting an online sale featuring a handful of vintage VHS tapes, to where they actually have pictures of the VHS tapes down below.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
One of which is 1984's first release of Star Wars. The copy includes the gray tape head, the first edition stereo only red label, and a 1984 sleeve, and first edition CBS Fox watermarks. There are also two other 1984 Star Wars VHS copies for sale. And a sealed copy of the Star Wars 10th anniversary original trilogy set
Sealed copy.
in trilogy case, which is expected to go for between $10,000 to $20,000. The auction is set to end Wednesday, February 23rd. While Star Wars was released in theaters in 1977, it wasn't until 1982 that the film became available on VHS for rental only. 1984 it became available for purchase. The edition for sale was previously sold at auction for $57,600, and this may seem like an absurd amount of money for a VHS, especially considering home viewers already own it and pay Disney for the availability to watch it every
And
single
it was
fucking
originally $29. What is that? $98 each.
month. Yeah, each. These VHS copies are exceedingly rare. So, for example, the first edition of a copy of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone sold for $37,000 at auction last year. On top of that, the original Star Wars trilogy has been edited and re-released countless times, making the original cut a valuable collector's item, where you will, of course, see Han shooting first.
Han shot first.
Hashtag
Someone
do
said.
not put in RCA VCR.
But I appreciate
Don't open it.
I appreciated this story because it is a nerd that had the forethought of buying two.
Yeah.
I have one for keeps
As always.
and one for use.
As always.
And that is how I'm doing this. Star Wars, yeah. And you're looking at like 77 and went out in theaters. It didn't become available for purchase until 84. You already had fans. It was already well in the theaters. You already had a lot of those people. You already went through your movies.
It's not like today's era where a movie sits in 12 weeks in the movie theater and 6 weeks later it's out on Blu-ray or DVD
correct.
or on a streaming platform.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that
heaven forbid.
The beginning of the film era, like when in the 80s, when tapes and stuff, home video, home theater was first conceptualized. That's where the streaming services came from, is being able to watch these films, things that people went to school to be able to artistically make, that you can watch over and over again and find something new. I remember watching the
first set of Star Wars movie on my console TV with the wood frame and everything. Yeah. And then that broke and I put a 20-inch on top of that.
Remember
watching it like that.
The family big screen. It was just the biggest TV in the house. It was like a 19-inch, and you were like, wow, man, look, Star Wars. Pop that VHS in, watch that, Terminator 2.
Not just 19, a tube television.
Yeah. Tube. Round on the outside.
It got warm. It made the room warmer. It was so big.
Yeah.
It gave you sunburn.
Although it still turned on faster than a modern TV. You notice that?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it does.
That shit was on. It was bam.
And you heard that. Dum.
Yeah.
And you put your hands right on the tube and you felt that static electricity.
The glow and the static
the natural degaussing of the inner tube. That was the cleaning method. It's called degaussing.
It was almost an enchantment, if you will. Which, of course.
Oh, you're going with that one.
Oh, yeah, man.
I didn't know you were writing that down.
Yeah.
He's like he misunderstood the assignment.
No, you were today years old when you found out I was writing that for right now. So, if you could enchant one article of clothing for 24 hours, what enchantment and why?
You paraphrased well.
I did.
You cut like 99% of what I said.
Oh my God. He had like a legal pad stipulation.
No, that's your go.
You could write that shit into law after he was done. But I just we're just going to handpick some of these key points that you mentioned here. Like, well, and then you got it. Because with enchantment, you have different things like, hey, let me increase my strength. Let me increase my agility, my dexterity, my luck. But you also have magic.
Yeah.
I would almost segment this into two things just because magic in itself is like a whole fucking TARDIS of possibilities. So the overall kind of like dexterity, luck, strength, agility, endurance. Overall, what would be your first enchantment that you would want to go for with that, and what kind of article of clothing with that, to where I would want more like agility, but I would want it in like shoes/socks, so that way you have more agility. You're able to move quicker on your feet. I would also take jeggings with that same ability. My ass would look great in jeggings.
I would choose something that I would wear every day. Like, so attach it to a watch.
Okay.
Or ring. Like
one ring to rule them all.
Well, we're in that vein.
Giggity.
But like attach it to an item that you would wear every day. So like I know this is only for 24 hours, but on the off chance that it became longer than that, you would always want to that was his on any given day you would want it.
That was his next thing that the rabbit hole he started going down was like, all right, 24 hours, but like it starts off with like a level ability 1. So that would mean like
you have
even
to really
if it was like
work it. If you
one day a month or like one day a week, you just got this, and you just like clothing, you wore this enchanted ring or glove.
Yeah, every day you'd have to re-enchant your magic glove of
this is the magic glove. This is the magic glove of love.
If you want it to remain all magic like every day.
Hey, Annie, are you okay?
I get very lucky when I wear this glove.
Yeah. So if you wanted to be very charismatic with your magic glove of sparkliness, every day you'd have to magic that up, enchant that up.
Yeah.
To
So
go with the metaphor.
yeah. So essentially,
Or you make the item in order to enchant the item and get it to that level. You have to take a debuff on another ability until you get that to that level. That would be like kind of like a messed up.
I
way
thought
to
of
go
a
about it.
perfect one would be like Jack Nicholson with his sunglasses. That would be like barter or speech.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a good one. Like, okay.
Especially Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets, because he's always like he does the little trick with where he lifts up his brow and they fall back down onto his face.
That's like a double buff.
Yeah, right there. Ching ching.
But I mean, ultimately, I thought like for what I would use, man. I mean, really, any kind of like buff on defense or anything like that.
For
Maybe
you, I
if you
thought it
had
would
like
be
a
your
running,
fedora.
like if you were like a runner and you had like a running jacket, like buff that defense just in case some jackass like hits you with a car. Like, school enchanted jacket. You'd have that, minor.
Yeah, but they're
debuff
hitting
right
your
there.
hips, not your chest.
Well, it's very specific. Look, you just run in a onesie, okay? And you enchant the onesie. You're fine.
All right.
We'd make it a ring that protects your whole self. So it'd be like a shield ring.
If you want to do it
Yes.
the simple way.
Yeah, I got this magic glove. It protects my hand, but that's it.
I mean,
Wow, that's not impressive at all.
that doesn't let me run down the
just gonna
street in
chop
the
your fucking
enchanted
hand
Squirtle
off.
onesie, though. I'm just saying.
You get a ring of illusion,
Mm.
and then you can
There you go.
make them think you look like a Squirtle if that's your fancy.
But, I mean, ultimately, I would probably go for either charisma or speech. And, I don't know, I'd make it like a ring or even like, I don't know, just like a jacket or like a T-shirt or something innocuous that you wouldn't know. Something that, like a T-shirt you could wear everywhere and then just kind of be crafty and, just be charming. Like, oh, this is my favorite shirt.
Yeah, I would make it like a necklace or a ring or something that
Well, you'd
I
be
would
that
always wear.
guy, like wearing the necklace. Like, oh, he wears
Yeah,
a
but
necklace.
that could be easily concealed. A ring is just a ring, and no one would notice it. Like if you made it
Or
a watch,
watch.
you
would
always
work.
had a watch. You have to
Yeah.
enchant it every day. Before long, you'd be a.
Although it would have to be like an
badass.
enchanted Apple, like or Apple or Android watch, so that way it's still a functional like Android or Apple watch, and it's just enchanted.
We're just adding the enchantment.
No, whatever
changing anything
your
functional.
watch is.
yeah, it's just
you
like,
enchant it.
well, I said
whatever
that
it is.
because
it's only
of
for
the
a day.
Yeah, because of the Apple Watch thing. But if like for a day you could just enchant that watch, I mean that'd be
Your
pretty heavy.
enchantment's about to disappear. Please stand up.
Like I would, that'd be cool if you could switch it because I would do speech or like increased intelligence for like technological like IT problem solving, and then I would just have like a glove that's enchanted with IT, and then I would almost be like idle hand, man. You could just kind of fix that shit. That's how it works in my mind, at least.
You would have a compulsion to fix everything though, and then you go insane.
Yeah, exactly. So on the magic side, what would be the magic? Because my first would be like enchanting a fucking Doctor Strange cloak of levitation.
I think like with magic, you'd have to start with like you'd get something random, and you have to really enchant it every day.
Are we
and
talking like
practice
core
that.
elements or what? Like just
You got illusion,
Mhm.
destruction. What's speech? You can enchant your speech or something. Magic speech,
I mean, because if you're looking at like
mysticism.
like between ice, fire, and electric, of course I would choose
Yeah.
electric because then I wouldn't have an electric bill anymore.
Yeah, necromancy. You could choose that if that's your kink.
I know we don't kink shame here, but that would not be my thing.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
I got to throw the option out there, for the viewers, in
maybe
case that
not.
was theirs. They're screaming at home, necromancy! right.
No,
Please, God,
there's
I
no
hope
one
they're
screaming that.
not.
No.
No one screaming necromancy might be the title of the podcast.
Oh, please, no.
I mean, mysticism and speechcraft. I mean, those would probably be good in the business world. As far as like what you want to do.
Especially if "Would You Kindly" was a spell, then oh my god.
Oh my god.
He just worked at that fucking thing really hard.
Oh my god, if "Would You Kindly" was a magic speech spell, that would be my fucking choice right there. Because holy crap, man, if you're just good with words, people would just do what you want, man.
Yeah, it's David Tennant and Jessica Jones. That's what that is exactly.
Yeah, it's essentially Kilgrave. We want to become Kilgrave.
It's Kilgrave. That's essentially what that is.
Why does it have
like,
to get dark? It got really DC dark all of a sudden in this room.
It was you doing a lot of the talking here.
That's a fair point.
Justice.
Justice has been, justice has been screamed multiple times. But ultimately, Big Brother, what was your choice?
I don't think I made one.
No, you didn't.
I was thinking an interesting one would be luck. So whatever you'd have to enchant it like every day to get good at casting it. So it's really good.
I feel like that would have been Kat's choice too. Would be luck.
like a ring,
or
something that would last. So every day you enchant it, it gets a little bit stronger.
Yeah, like if you're in a hazardous job environment like fire protection, or oh my god, around here in the Northeast, how could you not want frost protection?
That'd be nice.
Oh my god!
I mean, you're just asking to be Colossus at that point.
It's fine as long as I don't feel the fucking cold.
Well, I mean, with a metal armor.
If I'm just like in negative
you can't
32,
get frostbite.
If I'm in like negative 32 degree weather and I'm just like, oh, how are you? Fine. That's the perfect spell. Not that I want to be in negative 32 weather, but
you
want to
be. I mean, you could just be Deadpool because
he still gets cold. He just regenerates. And he has to
So,
get warm to
go.
regenerate there, The cells tend to stop around a certain temperature, That's
So the
what I
question
saw.
is, does Wolverine get cold since his body runs at a different temperature?
He's Canadian.
Well, so is, well.
Exactly. You just stopped yourself right there. But Canadian. Yeah. I didn't even have to say it. It was just, he's Canadian. And you're like,
Yeah, we're just going to park our trucks right here, and here's where we're going to stay. Thank you very much.
Now I'm going to make it
No,
illegal.
thank you very much. You may not. Go away now. Thanks.
Now it's illegal to give him food. But
fuck you. I'm in my truck. I'm not wearing a mask in here. That's not what we're saying. You exit the truck, right? Nope. Never.
So
I've never exited the truck. I was born in here.
I was born.
I was born into it and raised in the truck.
Okay.
My entire life has been in this
It's
truck.
really
sir.
cold out here.
You would be ironic because I would have to wear a mask to sound like this, but I don't believe in it.
So we'll have to see how that turns out. A lot like this end credit. It went off the rails very quickly.
Very quickly.
And we
as
want-
my lights shut off.
We want you to comment and like below. Let us know what your enchantment would be for 24 hours, even if you could build it up slowly throughout the time frame. What would it be? And, of course, we end off this podcast with the thank yous. We want to thank you to Lena Turner, Erica Garcia, J. Bo McNeil, Moy Robinson, Mark Gervais, Matthew Kennedy, and you, loyal Walljanger, for tuning in every single week, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And, of course, this is none other than a long drawn-out goodbye. I am your host, Matthew Bucarell, the Mat Man. In the Projanger box, we have Christopher Bristow, the old man. Of course, our omnipotent presence that is one Stephen Bucarell, Big Brother. Wandering around here somewhere, probably sleeping, is our hero of time, Link Diablo.
He's sleeping.
And of course, that does not surprise me. But we do want you
He had a long night.
to know we love you. We miss you. We want to see you next week. Until then, game on, Wall Jaggers. Bye-bye.
Oh no, we're gonna end it.